Funding for Curate, the Arizona Arts and Culture Fund, is made possible by Signal Society member Eleanor Light, and by you can become a curator of the arts on 8. For more information, call 602-496-8888.
And now, an 8 special presentation.
This time on Art Beat Nation. A baker takes her cake designs to the next tier.
Baking is definitely an art in itself. It's science.
The piano bar rolls onto the boardwalk.
People walk by, they want to know a little bit about me and why I'm out here and why I've got a piano on the beach.
A little-known history gets retold.
Somehow I always could envision something and make it.
And acting offers hope to a brave teen.
I was scared, and I say that in more of a, what is everyone else gonna think of me? Because being in middle school, that's all I kind of think about.
It's all ahead on this edition of Art Beat Nation. Funding for Art Beat Nation is made possible by donations to Curate, the Arizona PBS Arts and Culture Fund, and by contributions to 8 from viewers like you. Thank you. First, we follow a baker who has mastered the art of cake design. Her creations are not only mouth-watering, but also beautiful. Join us as we learn how her intricate and complex desserts take shape.
Usually when I'm out and about, I'll see a pattern or a design and instantly think of a cake. It's very weird, I know. When I began, it wasn't for the love of baking, it was for the love of the artistry. I saw things on TV that I thought were amazing. I thought, wow, maybe I could do something like that. Once I saw what was happening and what was being created from an edible medium, I wanted to try it. I wanted to see what it was all about. And once I got involved in it, I just kept getting deeper and deeper and wanting to try new things and really testing myself and testing my abilities and pushing myself. I didn't have an instructor or a teacher telling me how to do things. I just kind of had to figure it out on my own. I use tools that you wouldn't think are made for cake use, such as clay tools, razor blades, scissors, paintbrushes. These are all things that I've had to learn along the way. I haven't had any kind of training or any classes. I just kind of learned along the way. One of the mediums that I use to create some of the things that I do is fondant. I prefer fondant just because it dries nicely. The feeling I want from it, I want it to be kind of like a clay. I want it to be able to dry well. Baking is definitely an art in itself. It's science. My first attempt, it's not a very good one. It was a disaster. I baked a nice 2-tiered topsy-turvy cake. This cake was so dry, but the decorations were pretty cool. I felt like I needed to really spend some time in the baking world and really get this down. If I want to have a serious business, I need to offer my clients a good product. Not only should it look good, but it should taste good too. So I began researching recipes, and through trial and error, lots of error. I've had cakes collapse on me. I've had cakes melt on me. I've had heads fall off. I've had all kinds of things, but I've learned a lesson every single time something bad happened. Basically, from sketch to my final product, I'll take a look at what they're interested in and basically put together a custom design based on what they want. The cool thing about my type of artistry is that you can't keep it forever. You have to eat it. Most people say they don't want to eat it because it's so beautiful, because it is a piece of art. They want to show it off to their friends. They want it sitting on their counter as a display. Cake design is definitely a labor of love because it really does take a lot of time and practice and patience. And creativity. You can't go anywhere without any kind of creativity. I would love to have my own shop. I'd love to teach classes. I'm very interested in showing people what I can do and helping them improve in their artistry as well. I was scared when I first started, but I took the plunge and I just kept going and going. But now I feel like I've gotten to a point where my art can kind of speak for itself.
For more, visit hotmamascakes.net. Up next, we meet the so-called song peddler, a piano man on wheels who shares his music with passers-by on a Florida boardwalk. Take a listen as we learn what it takes to keep the music playing and the good times rolling.
There's nothing like coming out here like this. It's just wonderful. The waves are crashing. It's just tranquil and peaceful. People walk by, they want to know a little bit about me and why I'm out here and why I've got a piano on the beach. I've always wanted to be able to play piano for people in the streets, and I happen to live here, which is the street is the beach. So especially here, the cars driving up and down the beach, but usually I'm on the boardwalk playing for people, and because they don't expect it. They're just blown away when they see the piano out here. I used to work on cruise ships a lot, and one of the agents, or the agent that booked me out there, we were down in Key West about, God, it's 20 years ago just about, and we were watching all the different street entertainers and the buskers, and I said, you know, I would love to be able to come out here and carry my piano and be able to play for these people because I've never had a chance to do anything like that. He says, well, why don't you build a piano bar bicycle? And it was an ongoing joke for like 20 years. And I thought about it seriously about 3 or 4 years ago, and my wife said, why don't you go ahead and do it? It's a basic setup. I have a mixing board that has my microphone and a quarter-inch jack for my iPhone for the MP4 files that I write. Then you have a rolling cube monitor, which is just a stage monitor for when I play in restaurants and clubs. You have a converter that changes the DC power over to AC power. And you have a deep cycle marine battery here that I've probably put 100 charges on it and it's still good. The pedal for the keyboard is down here. And this is aluminum from shower stalls. And it's just pieced together with binder's twine and epoxy and shelving from the secondhand store also, and it's just glued and pieced together to look like a piano after the skins are put on it. And 16-inch tires that I get from a tool company, and a beat-up Schwinn bicycle that I chopped off. That was my wife's. I cut off here, and you see how easily it handles. It's really easy to drive. It's not transportation, though. Take me down. It's a contraption. Around 12 o'clock, midday, I'll get the bike and I'll piece it together, put the skins on it, and put the keyboard on top of it, and I'll ride down to the boardwalk and I'll play for a couple of hours. Using my bottle, she went away. I wanted to make a gimmick out of something to be able to name myself, and I knew it was going to have a bicycle to it, and I knew I was going to be singing songs, so it just popped in my head, Song Peddler, and it really worked out well. And then with the logo and all that I've got on there with the hair, I've got to keep my hair long now because it works. I can't ever cut my hair again. My favorite music to play is singer-songwriter, stuff like the Elton John and Billy Joel and Dan Fogelberg and Beatles and you know, Jim Croce and Harry Chapin, singer-songwriter stuff from the 60s and 70s especially. I could sit out for about 2 or 3 hours and make about $100 of just tipping, and half of those tips come from people wanting a picture with me, so it's kind of like having a parrot on my shoulder or a monkey to go out and grab a tip. You can't let the money be the reason you do it, but it sure is nice when you get it. I've done nothing but play music all my life. I've done piano bars and been in bands, and I just can't imagine doing anything else, and I'm going to do it until I can't sing anymore. And I'm happy every day. It's just a wonderful life. But I'd stand back and savor the view if I were the king.
In this segment, we now sit down with National Heritage Fellow Santa Fe Santero Ramon Jose Lopez, who shares how his rich heritage influences his art. Safeguarding tradition, Lopez explains, is about preserving a history few ever learn.
I've always been motivated to do artistic things, even as a child. Somehow I always could envision something and make it. When I was a child, we didn't have gas stoves or anything. We lived in a one-room house, but our neighbor would bring wood over. He had a wood pile, and I would have to chop wood with a dull axe. One day he brought, it was like, you know how a rowboat would look if you got under it? He brought panels like that, and they were all decorated with saints. He was a master carpenter, and he ended up with all these scraps. That was my playhouse. When I was growing up here in Santa Fe, most of the schools do not provide all the history that occurred here in New Mexico or even here in Santa Fe. And I think it's very important, especially to talk about or to learn about the Pueblo Revolt that happened in August 1680. I mean, there's not images that you can actually see. People don't really understand or can't imagine what actually happened 400 years ago. The title of the piece, Un Sueño de Santa Fe, it's a dream of holy faith. Everything that is on this hide painting is not factual, but it's like a dream. It's not like a photograph. I documented, I filmed it. Based on historical accounts, you could imagine a battle scene similar to that. I think the Indians wanted to eliminate or destroy everything that the Spanish had created and imposed upon them. I'm amazed that both the Hispanics and the Indians get along so well together nowadays. These are all natural pigments. I use a lot of black walnut. The blue is indigo. The reason I chose to use indigo is because They discovered in some of the burials of the Franciscan priests that they were indigo. This is called a maigre. And you can imagine just a little saliva or fat, and you can make makeup or face paint. And I paint with buffalo bone brushes. I consider myself a contemporary artist working with traditional mediums. I still try to continue using the same iconography of New Mexican saints. The New Mexican imagery, most of it is very simplified. And, you know, it's not like a European master's painting. It's like folk art to some degree. One of my biggest inspirations was my grandfather. My grandfather was a santero. A santero is a wood carver, and he would carve religious imagery of saints. He also built a capilla, a small family chapel located in Santa Fe on Cerro Gordo Road. The main reason I try to continue in the traditional methods, use the traditional methods, is because I see a different quality of the artwork. It has a whole different feel to it. In making some of my pieces, I use the hand adze and chisels and all kinds of hand tools. One of my favorite tools is actually a needle. Some of the simplest tools that you can use, a knife, a razor. In fact, when I was a little boy, when I really actually realized that I could make things, I was at my father's house, and he was a cowboy, and he had a pile of cowboy books full of cattle and stuff, and I saw some kind of special cow, and I got his double-sided razor, and I carved out that cow. That was fascinating to me. At that point, you know, I realized that I had a gift. This is a book of, it has the images of New Mexico saints and prayers, the alphabet, the numbers from 1 to 1,000,000 in Spanish. People forget how beautiful a lot of the illuminated manuscripts were. They're just beautiful calligraphy and the imagery they captured. This is really of a simple design. It's not as intricate as most illuminated manuscripts, but the simplicity of the imagery and everything else is beautiful in itself. Este es mi abuelito. He's standing in front of his chapel. But here's a little quote that I made. The santeros die, but their work remains. Every artist has a different style. Some do it exactly like the old santeros or European style, but I really honor, respect the artists that really focus on their own creativity. When I was making the altar screen behind me, I was working late at night. I was kneeling down in front of the image of San Gabriel, but I had removed all the panels off because I was painting the spirals. All of a sudden, this cloud, it's hard to describe. It wasn't jet black. It was like a cloud of moving in. The voice asked me to come into heaven, and I said, I can't, I have too much work. I really believe in the things, you know, things you experience. Some are religious, and you keep in your heart forever.
Finally, we meet Las Vegas film and television actor Sean Kyle. The talented teen shares his harrowing tale of surviving illness and how he held on to his dream through it all.
I'm Sean Kyle, I'm 17 years old, and I'm an actor. I can't believe he just up and left again. I've been acting since I was about 11 years old, so 6 years now. But hey, why should I be mad? I've actually wanted to be an actor since I was 2 years old. I saw Pierce Brosnan as James Bond in GoldenEye for the first time, and I want to do that. I want to be James Bond. And hey, you don't have to do anything, Uncle Phil. I mean, it's not like I'm still 5 years old, you know? Acting is definitely a means of expression for me. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present. We're here at the Las Vegas Marriott for the first annual Children's Miracle Network and St. Rose Hospital's fashion show. In terms of being a performer, this fits in pretty dang well. I'd like to think that this helps me get in front of people. I got involved with the Children's Miracle Network by starting out being a spokesperson for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The reason that I got involved is because I like to make a difference. Well, I'd just like to say good evening, everyone. My name is Sean, and I am actually a cancer survivor myself. I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare bone and soft tissue tumor that occurs mainly in boys between the ages of 9 to 21. I was 12 years old when I was diagnosed. So I know what it's like to go through everything that a lot of these kids have gone through. I found out by actually riding my dirt bike. And my brother teach me how to go up a hill, take a sharp turn, and go right back down. And I was going down the hill, I lost control of the bike. Well, I crashed and the bike landed totally on my right leg. The pain drove me to a bunch of MRIs, a couple of x-rays, and a second visit to the doctor later. He noticed a couple of inches above my knee, they found a tumor. When you hear you have cancer, you think of, I'm gonna die. And you realize later on that that's not necessarily the truth. It's a very good possibility, but there is a way to beat it. I had heard the phrase mind over matter, and for some reason it stuck with me. I was scared, and I say that in more of a, what is everyone else gonna think of me? Because being in middle school, that's all I kind of think about. Now, later on, having gone through everything, I don't care about that as much, so. I've gone through a lot with my cancer, and honestly, I was lucky enough to have gone through it and to have survived it. But I know for a fact that I'm never gonna let it stop me. I know for a fact I'm never gonna let what I've gone through hinder my dream of becoming an actor, or learning and experiencing as much as life as I can. The solution definitely involved chemo. Yeah, I had 14 treatments of it. I had 2 different kinds of treatments, and it made me throw up a lot. It made me lose my hair, it made me sick. The entire length of the chemo was about 1.5 years. As I stand here before you, 3.5 years in remission, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the Children's Miracle Network and St. Rose Hospitals. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for doing what they do and being as generous as they are. So let's change a life, yeah? The hardest part about it was mostly seeing my mom cry. It's really hard to see someone who's basically my entire protector cry. I love you. I love you too, love you. I questioned whether or not I was gonna get through it a lot. My friends and my family definitely helped me get through it. With acting, it had to be totally suspended. I could barely get outside, let alone go to California. I definitely missed acting because I missed the wonder that surrounded it all. I missed everything that acting entailed, because with acting, you can make someone cry, you can make someone laugh, you can make them angry, and I love that. Cancer changed the way that I see my dream of acting because I've always been one to want to change something in this world, and I feel like with what I've gone through, I'll be able to connect to a bit bigger audience, and I'll be able to help a lot more people. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was, and I sure as hell don't need him for that. Is there a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids? What acting is for me is definitely wonderful. It's everything that I could ever want and more.
For more arts and culture, visit azpbs.org/artbeat, where you'll find feature videos and information on the Arizona art scene. Funding for Artbeat Nation is made possible by donations to Curate, the Arizona PBS Arts and Culture Fund, and by contributions to aid from viewers like you. Thank you.
Funding for Curate, the Arizona Arts and Culture Fund, is made possible by Signal Society member Eleanor Light, and by you can become a curator of the arts on 8. For more information, call 602-496-8888.